are going to talk about the second chapter under the first unit, that is biological classification. In the previous chapter, The Living World, we studied about the living organisms as well as classification of living organisms and their arrangement in different phylums and classes, that is nothing but taxonomy. In this chapter, we are going to continue about the classification or the framing of kingdoms done by the various scientists. Before knowing or entering into the biological classification chapter, we need a very small history background. Let us see. At older period, man made many attempts to classify the living organisms, and also all such classifications were based ultimately of the living organisms based on their food, their shelter, etc. And these classifications were not scientific. But the first trial of classification was done by Aristotle. Aristotle made the first attempt to classify the living organisms, and which was the only based on morphology. He started classification on which basis? On basis of morphology. We all know that morphology is nothing but the study of external features. So based on some of the morphological characteristics or similarities among the organisms, he started classifying the living organisms. He classified plants into herbs, shrubs and trees. Only he is observing the morphological features. That is why all same level plants which were very shorter, they were grouped as herbs, and next level of plants were grouped as shrubs, and a very tall trees were grouped into trees. Like this, he classified the plants into different groups based on the morphology. And also, Aristotle classified the animals based on those which organism had red blood cells and those which animals do not possess RBC. That is, he grouped animals in a way that is, the organisms which had red blood cells were grouped into one group or one category, and the organisms which do not have red blood cells were grouped into another. Like this, Aristotle made an attempt to classify the plants and animals. And later, Linnaeus classified the living organisms. Linnaeus classified the living organism into two kingdoms. So, the two kingdoms of classification first was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Which was those kingdom given by Carolus Linnaeus? That is nothing but he made two kingdoms as Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. All type of primitive, beginning from unicellular autotroph to highly evolved, well-developed angiosperms, all those plants were kept under a kingdom called as Kingdom Plantae. And also, he grouped all the animals, including the unicellular to the very upgraded multicellular organisms. All the animals were grouped under a kingdom Animalia. So, Carolus Linnaeus classified, or he gave two kingdom classification, and that two kingdoms were nothing but Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. But this type of classification was failure, because even these classifications were not able to distinguish, it was not able to distinguish between the prokaryotes, between the eukaryotes, autotrophs, heterotrophs, unicellular organisms and multicellular. Thus it became an inadequate over a period of time. It was not a successful classification. It was not accepted after some period of time, because many of the unicellular, multicellular, autotrophs, heterotrophs all were kept under the same kingdoms, and hence after a period of time it was not inadequate. Later, an American ecologist, R.H. Whitaker, later an American ecologist, R.H. Whitaker, proposed five-kingdom classification. He proposed the five-kingdom classification, and this was accepted, and even today we follow the kingdom, that is the five-kingdom classification, which is given by R.H. Whitaker. Let me see on which basis he gave the, or he made, or he proposed five kingdoms of classification. On the basis of cell structure. He classified the organisms based on cell structure and also mode of nutrition. And on the basis of the reproduction and comparative and evolutionary relationship. Based on their evolutionary relationship, that means studying about their previous ancestors, like this, comparing the evolutionary relationships, he classified the organisms into five kingdoms, and hence this five kingdom classification was accepted by all, and this is also called a Whitaker classification or Whitaker five kingdom of classification, based on cell structure, mode of nutrition, and also the mode of reproduction, and also how do they show evolutionary relationships. Based on this, he classified the organisms into five kingdoms. Now let me see which are those five kingdoms given by R.H. Whitaker. The five kingdoms of classification includes five different kingdoms, such as the first kingdom is kingdom Monera, second kingdom is kingdom Protista, third kingdom is kingdom Fungi, and the fourth kingdom is kingdom Plantae, and fifth one is kingdom Animalia. Now we shall go through one by one. That is the first kingdom, kingdom Monera. What type of organisms were kept or placed under kingdom Monera? Let me see. Kingdom Monera consists, or it involves, unicellular prokaryotes with the cell wall, and that cell wall is made up of polysaccharides and amino acids. Which were the members? The members of Monera were nothing but unicellular organisms, and also there were prokaryotes. The point to be noted here is prokaryotes, because those unicellular organisms were not having a true nucleus. They had a very primitive nucleus, and hence we are specifying them as prokaryotes. And also these unicellular organisms were having cell wall, and that cell wall was made up of polysaccharides. kingdom Protista. Here under this kingdom, even again they placed or they grouped the unicellular organisms. But this kingdom members or these unicellular organisms had a true nucleus, and hence we call them as eukaryotes with the cell wall, but the cell wall was made up of cellulose. This was a major difference between the monerans and the Protista. That is, the members of Protista or the organisms which belong to Protista were also unicellular organisms, but they were eukaryotic. They possess a true nucleus and even they had cell wall, but the cell wall was made up of cellulose. This is about kingdom Protista. And next is kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Fungi had the members of multicellular and also eukaryotes, and with the cell wall made up of chitin, and the members are achlorophyllous and heterotrophs. What about fungi? Here it is a little bit highly evolved compared to monerans and Protista. That is, here the members are having many cells and hence we are calling them as multicellular. Eukaryotes, they were having, those cells were having true nucleus, hence multicellular. Eukaryotes, and also they had cell wall which was made up of chitin, and the members are achlorophyllous and heterotrophs. What are achlorophyllous? That is nothing but absence of chlorophyll pigment. If there is absence of chlorophyll, it is very clear they are not capable of producing their own food. That means if they are not capable of preparing their own food, they need to depend on other organisms for the purpose of nutrition. So that is nothing but these organisms can be called or they can be considered as heterotrophs. That means they are depending on the other dead organisms or dead organic matter for the purpose of nutrition. So like this we can consider or can be considered as the features of members of fungi. Let me repeat. The members of fungi are multicellular, eukaryotes with the cell wall, and that cell wall was made up of chitin, and the members are achlorophyllous and heterotrophs. Next, the fourth kingdom, that is nothing but kingdom Plantae. Here the members were or the plants or the autotrophs which belong to kingdom Plantae were multicellular. Even they are eukaryotes, and with the cellulose cell wall, the members are autotrophs with well-defined tissues and also the organs. These are much evolved and very developed tissues for various functions, and also those tissues were grouped to form a very well developed organs for various functioning, and these are the major characteristics of kingdom Plantae. We are mentioning that they are autotrophs. That means all the members which belong to Plantae are autotrophs. That means they are not depending on any other organism for the purpose of nutrition. Instead, they are preparing, they are manufacturing their own food by the help of chlorophyll pigment with the many other raw materials which are available in the nature. And this is about kingdom Plantae. In this chapter, we are not going to study in detail about this kingdom because we are going to study in detail about kingdom plantae in a separate chapter. And next, the last kingdom is nothing but kingdom Animalia. Here in this kingdom, the members are multicellular, eukaryote and without the cell wall. This is to be remembered, that is the organisms or the animals which belongs to kingdom Animalia were not possessing or were not having cell wall, and hence we are mentioning they are without cell wall. The members are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs, that means they are definitely depending on other organisms for the nutritional purpose with saprophytic or holozoic mode of nutrition. That means saprophytic means they are nothing but depending on the dead organic matters, and all these features are found in the members or the animals which belongs to kingdom Animalia. So by these general characteristics keeping as a base, R.H. Whitaker classified the 5 kingdoms of classification. In this chapter, biological classification, we are going to concentrate mainly on kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista and kingdom Mycota, because kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia are studied in detail in the separate chapters. Okay, now we shall take the first kingdom, that is kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera, as we discussed before, that is the kingdom Monera are unicellular and prokaryotic living organisms. These are unicellular prokaryotic organisms with varied mode of nutrition. That means these monerans are not depending on one type of nutrition. Some of the monerans are depending on some nutritional mode, and also some other monerans are depending on another nutritional mode. Like this, it's varying. When we take the further examples, we'll get a very clear picture. But what we can say here is the monerans are not depending on the same mode of nutrition. Instead, their mode of nutrition is getting varied. They include the members, that is bacteria. All different types of bacteria are classified or grouped under a huge kingdom, that is nothing but Monera. All different varieties of bacteria, it might be of various shapes or it may belongs to harmful or benefit or non-benefit, whichever the bacterians, all are classified. They are grouped under a kingdom Monera. So the major members or the members of kingdom Monera is nothing but the bacteria. Bacteria are cosmopolitan in distribution. They are found in fresh water, marine water, soil and also even in extreme conditions like high temperature, high salinity or salty areas, and even they live without oxygen. That is why we can use the term cosmopolitan. That means cosmopolitan means these bacteria are capable of surviving in all the regions. They are living everywhere. So, we are using the word cosmopolitan in distribution. They are present everywhere. We are giving example where and all we can find in also in extreme conditions like It may find in fresh water, marine water. The marine water is so saline. Even still, there also we can find the many of the bacterians, and many bacteria in soil, and even extreme conditions like very high temperature and salty areas, and also even they live without oxygen. They can live everywhere, and this is about some basic features of Monera. Now we shall see a picture or a diagram of bacterial cell. We spoke about the cell walls, cell membrane, and also we can observe here different cell organelles that is present. Let me see one by one. The outermost membrane is the cell wall, and we said that the cell wall is also made up of polysaccharides and all. So cell wall is present, and next to the cell wall there is a presence of cell membrane. Cell membrane is present next to the cell wall. Within the cell membrane there is a presence of cytoplasm, and in the cytoplasm there is many ribosomes, nuclear material, and also the mesosomes. The point to be noted here is this nuclear material, what is present, is not surrounded by any of the envelope or not by any of the membrane, that is present in a very primitive condition. Nuclear material is present, and also the granules are distributed throughout the cytoplasm in various regions, and from the cell wall, next to the cell wall there is a presence of cell membrane. From that region there is arise of villi, and outermost of the cell wall there is a presence of a protective covering, which we call it as a capsule, and from the cell membrane there will be arise of a flagellum, that is nothing but a very whip-like structure, which is meant is nothing but flagellum, and this flagellum as well as pili, these are meant for locomotion and sensation in the region where it present. So like this we can see the structure of the bacterial cell, but here we are considering this as an prokaryote because it does not consist of any of the nuclear envelope, and also the cell organelles are absent. It's very clear. The cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, and also lysosomes, like this, many of the cell organelles are absent in the prokaryotic cell, that is in the bacterial cell.